Hello, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're from. Thank you for coming to this live. I did a live yesterday. The technology was not on my side, so I'm hoping today is a lot better and you can hear me, you can see me, and I might even be able to share my screen, but time will tell. So today we're going to talk about Tesla, maybe how they're going to eventually or soon enter India and actually build a gigafactory in India. Very, very exciting. So I'm going to share what's been going on, keep you guys up to date, and then we're going to talk about some reasons as to why I think, and you can obviously leave your thoughts as well on this, why this would be so good for Tesla, and then obviously bullish for us investors as well. So let me share my screen. Appreciate all of you coming, by the way. Thank you. Right, hopefully you can actually see my screen now. It looks like you can, so that's good. Okay, so a couple of days ago, we heard that India was looking to actually reduce the EV import duty as a means to basically tempt and lure in Tesla into India, meaning to set up a base in India and actually potentially build the next gigafactory there, set up business there and sell to the Indian market. Honestly, the words tempt and lure, they are all over news articles at the moment, as you can see on the one I'm sharing right now. But sources have been claiming, and this hasn't come from Elon Musk or the Tesla team officially themselves, but apparently Tesla have been requesting Indian leaders to reduce the tariffs as a precondition to them actually building a gigafactory in India. So they've said to India, look, we will consider you as a potential location for building a gigafactory, providing you actually reduce the tariff concessions on EVs first. Now, Elon Musk obviously, and the Tesla team, they obviously want the import duty to be reduced, obviously, because that means they can then sell their vehicles in India, in the Indian market, and it won't cost loads and loads of money. It makes a lot of sense. But India, it seems, I say India, it's not like the whole of the country. India is saying like, hey, Mr. Musk, that sounds great. You know, we might consider reducing the import duty, but why don't you just build a gigafactory in India, a local factory, and then you can sell the vehicles that way. So it's a bit up in the air at the moment, and nothing, like I said, nothing is official. We don't know. We haven't heard from Tesla themselves whether or not they are actually building a gigafactory in India. However, from this information, it does seem like it might be likely. Then, yesterday, we actually got the information, we got the news that India's Commerce Minister, I'm going to butcher this name, but Piyush Goyal, I hope I'm saying that right. Anyway, he visited the Tesla Fremont factory in California. So we have to ask ourselves, with all this information going on, why would he then take his time and use his effort to visit Tesla's factory? Probably going to be a reason there. And it's very clear at this point that lots of countries around the world, and we've seen this over the course of 1 year, 2 years, whatever, lots and lots of countries want Tesla to actually have business in their country because it helps their economy. And don't you think, actually, going off on a bit of a tangent here, don't you think it's really odd how all of these leaders worldwide, from Thailand, from India, from Europe, like loads of different countries, their leaders have visited Tesla's factories. But we've not once seen that President Biden has actually visited a Tesla factory, which I find really, really strange considering how big Tesla is as a US headquartered company and how big they are for the US economy. Doesn't really make sense. We'll have to see what happens with that in the future. But yeah, so this minister visited the Fremont factory, and I guess he was meant to meet Elon Musk there. They were probably meant to have a chat. Maybe Elon was meant to show him around the factory. However, it turns out that Elon was ill. Now, I don't often hear that he misses events or that he's ill, so I wonder what was wrong. But anyway, he didn't end up going. He did, however, take to X later on and said, It was an honour to have Goyal visit the Fremont plant. And then he went on to actually express optimism and excitement about meeting him at a later date. So clearly they do want to have a conversation about something, about bringing that duty down, import duty down, maybe about actually utilising India as a market to sell Tesla vehicles and having a gigafactory there. Tesla's gigafactory expansion is really quite incredible, and I do think that India makes a lot of sense, and we'll get onto that in just a second. So he said that on X, and then Goyal, the minister, said, "I'm proud to see the growing importance of auto component suppliers from India in the Tesla EV supply chain. It's on its way to double its components imports from India." So clearly there's a relationship building. Clearly they are mutually beneficial to each other. So time will tell, but I do imagine that soon we will be hearing that perhaps it's been agreed India is the next gigafactory location. Of course, it's not confirmed yet, but obviously if they do build a gigafactory and they do supply Teslas locally to the Indian market, they will probably, most definitely look to establish a supercharging network there as well, which could be interesting. Also, I was thinking, and let me know your thoughts on this, because this is literally just a crazy idea at this point, but it makes a lot of sense that they would actually, once they've got the gigafactory in India, let's say that happens, to actually use that as one of the main hubs to manufacture the next gen vehicle, the 25k or whatever it be, mass affordable compact vehicle. That could be possible, right? Because it would be cheaper to do it in India because you've got cheaper like electricity costs and running costs. You've got the fact that workers are going to be cheaper in India, and all of that, what that does is that just brings the margins up, which means the cars are going to be making more money. It makes sense to me, but maybe it won't happen straight away. Maybe they'll stick to Giga Berlin and then expand into India later on. I don't know. But also, I think the Indian market could be very, very good for a mass affordable vehicle, couldn't it? However, I was thinking about this, and this sounds really silly, but I was then thinking, well, Tesla obviously want this mass affordable vehicle for many reasons. But one of the big reasons, I imagine, is this robo-taxi fleet idea. They want as many vehicles out there so that when the robo-taxi fleet, they might use it, the compact vehicle for the robo-taxi fleet. Anyway, then I was thinking, what would FSD be like in India? On the Indian roads? And then I was worrying that actually it would really struggle there because it's so busy and the cars and the traffic is just manic. However, the whole point of FSD is to provide safer transport than a traditional driver. So actually maybe FSD would be really good in India. Let me know what you think about that. Anyway, I don't know if any of you saw a post on X, I'm still getting used to that Martin, what was his name? I forgot his last name, but Martin someone, who is the investor relations head at Tesla. Is that his right title? I'm sure you know who I'm on about if you know anything about Tesla. But anyway, he put out a tweet that was basically in reply to Gary Black, and he was saying that Tesla have two main stages of growth. The next big stage of growth is that €25, 25k, whatever it will be when it comes out, mass affordable compact next gen vehicle. Does that mean, we obviously don't know this is purely speculation, but I am wondering if Tesla have all of these things aligned that most people don't know. FSD, next gen vehicle, obviously Cybertruck is happening, but it's not, the deliveries haven't started yet, 15 days out from that. Optimus, all of these different things that are ready to go and they're building momentum. But when each one of those happens, what impact is that going to have on the stock price? Because Tesla stock moves very quickly, very, very quickly. Anyway, so I put together basically a list of points as to why I think India could be a very bullish location choice for Tesla to have a gigafactory in. I'm going to share that with you now, providing it lets me, obviously, who knows. There you go. You should be able to now see my X post. Now, this was written, obviously, to be consumed as a written piece of text, but I'm going to read it out. As I try to read this, I will be able to read it. If there's anything that I'm missing that I haven't thought about as to why this would be good for Tesla or bad for Tesla and investors, do let me know in the comments below. So I've started by saying the Indian government is considering slashing tariffs on electric vehicles in exchange for building a factory in their country. We've already just discussed that. I said everyone wants Tesla operating in their country because they bring in so many new jobs. They help the economy. It's obviously a growth company. It's, in my opinion, and in probably your opinion, it's going places. We know this. It makes sense that everyone wants Tesla having a secure hub in their country. So I said, how would this help Tesla? Well, India have a large automotive market. India is one of the largest automotive markets in the world. Its vast population and growing middle class offer a significant customer base for Tesla's EVs. The EV market is still in its early stages of development. This means there is a lot of room for growth. Potential market share, what this comes down to. There are many people in India that are growing their wealth status, if you will. Obviously, there's lots of people still struggling. But they have a massive population and it could be an untapped pool of potential Tesla customers. Next one, government support for EVs. The Indian government is supportive of the development of the EV industry. The government has introduced a number of incentives to encourage the adoption of EVs, such as subsidies and tax breaks. This creates a favourable environment for Tesla. Of course, if the government are going to support consumers making the switch from ICE vehicles, internal combustion engines, to EVs, then more people are likely to make that switch. At the moment, the two things that are stopping people making that switch are range anxiety and affordability. Hopefully, Tesla are already tackling that affordability with the next gen vehicle. But yeah, if the government are supportive, it's going to be a good thing for Tesla. This kind of goes hand in hand with the first point, but rising income levels. India's middle class is growing rapidly and disposable incomes are rising. This means that there is growing demand for consumer goods, including EVs. Obviously, a point like this is going to fluctuate depending on the economy at the time. Right now, this has actually changed slightly, but let's just say a few months ago, a month ago maybe, the economy in the US wasn't great. Inflation rates are high, interest rates, all of this stuff that basically caused people not to have such a demand for high ticketed items. When people are a little bit tight for cash, they are probably not, as long as they're sensible, going to spend their disposable income on a 50k vehicle. They're just not. So the demand switches, and it switches to those lower cost vehicles. Affordable, next gen will be good for this, obviously. So yeah, this is going to change depending on what the economy is doing. But just in general, rising income levels in India makes it a good, again, untapped market. Increase in demand for EVs, this is a given. There is a increased mass adoption of EVs and the demand for them is growing. Some data tries to argue otherwise, but I think it's very, very clear. And obviously government incentives put pressure on this. It's like a pressure cooker, and it's going to happen. The switch is going to happen. I think give it maybe not a few years, maybe 10 years, maybe the next generation of people, they will probably look back, maybe the next two generations, whatever timeline you think this is going to happen in, we'll look back and it will be like history that we had internal combustion engine cars. Things are changing. Actually, things are changing really rapidly recently, aren't they? The change is insane. AI, EVs, like everything just seems to be going wild. So what was I saying? Pollution concerns in India are causing there to be a growing public and governmental push towards cleaner transportation options. EVs, like those offered by Tesla, are seen as part of the solution. So yeah, if they are noticing that their pollution is a problem, how do they fight that? One way is EVs. Tesla are when you think about EVs, who do you think of? For me, it's Tesla. Obviously, I'm very much in this everyday researching, but I think even for the average person, they're going to say, when you say what is Tesla or name me an EV car company, they're going to say Tesla. Next one, technology adoption. India has a rapidly growing technology sector and a populace that is increasingly tech savvy. This is true. Obviously, I believe that. I wrote this. This makes it a potentially receptive market for Teslas. Oh, I've left an extra space there. How annoying. For Tesla's EVs and even energy solutions. So yeah, what I was trying to say here is obviously the technology adoption is in favor of this, but also aside from just Tesla's EVs, even Tesla's energy storage, and Tesla energy is such an area that is not spoken about, that we are seeing very, very good growth in. We need to take this seriously. And again, with megapacks, I literally lost the word then. Megapacks in particular could be very, very key in India in the future and just worldwide. Strategic location for exports. Establishing a base in India could also serve as a strategic point for Tesla to export vehicles to other parts of Asia and the Middle East. Potentially reducing shipping costs and delivery times. Obviously favourable for Tesla from a financial point, but this would be very, very good for taking more of the Asian market. And obviously in China specifically, we've got BYD, which is doing really well. There's many companies, many legacy automotive companies that are not doing well. They're not. We know that Ford, Lucid, GM, Rivian, but I'll talk about Rivian in just a second, they are losing tens of thousands of dollars per EV. How do they sustain that over time? They probably don't. They either make the switch and take their EV business more seriously, or they end up going bankrupt as we see the switch from ICE vehicles to EVs. I think the next 5 to 10 years is going to be very telling as to what happens there. Rivian are losing money per vehicle, but the amount of money that they're losing is getting smaller and smaller as time goes on. So potentially they will do okay. Again, time will tell. I haven't researched them in as much depth as I have Tesla. So my bullish case is obviously more on Tesla. But I think Asia, especially when we talk about the smaller compact vehicle that is coming, I think Asia is a big market there. And having a factory in India will really, really help that financially and strategically. Competition and market share. Oh, okay. This is kind of what I've just been discussing. Entering the India market gives Tesla the opportunity to establish itself in a market not yet dominated by EVs. That's really good. If they can get in there early and be one of the early players, obviously they get a lot of market share. This is good. I don't think Tesla are ever going to have 100% of the market share. I think it would be very silly for me to ever say that. But they're going to be one of the key players here. And you know what's interesting is when people that don't really like Tesla, which obviously is fair enough, it's people have their own money, they can invest in what they like, they tend to say that Tesla demand is going down and other companies, whoever it is, Ford, whoever, are overtaking them. The data doesn't show that, for one, often. But even if it did, I like to then think that actually the business of Tesla is not just Tesla's EVs. It's energy, it's FSD, it's robotaxi fleet, it's Dojo, it's now the superchargers like we've spoken about yesterday. That's going to be big. It's Optimus. Like there's so much more going on outside of just their EVs. Offering the potential for significant market share before the competition intensifies. Yeah, and then diversification. I was just thinking that it's obviously a way to diversify which markets they're in, diversify their revenue, diversify their dependence on different markets, therefore spreading the risk. I think that's everything that I can think of as to why this would be bullish for Tesla. Like I said, let me know if you've got any more. But let's just take a look at Tesla's stock today, actually, because it's been a little bit crazy recently. So, why can't I click? Here I am. So let's just zoom out to the last 1 month. So we had obviously the Q3 earnings. which I won't go into detail because I've covered it many times, and I'm sure you're very familiar at this point with what happened during those earnings. And the earnings call, the good, the bad, and some of the damn right ugly. I just wanted to finish that phrase there. We had that, and then we had HSBC come out saying that they are downgrading Tesla stock to $146 per share. And then they had some really bearish commentary as to why. I didn't agree with a lot of things they said there, but of course, when stuff like that comes out, and Tesla being just a volatile stock, it does move the markets. It does move Tesla. We saw it fall by quite a lot. But in the recent sort of few days, 5 days, whatever, we've had the reverse happen. We've started to have Tesla picking up and picking up. It's pre-market right now. So it's 1:21 where I am in the UK. So the markets will be opening soon. But it looks like the markets are going to be opening at $242.20 per share. That's pretty cool. By the way, guys, if you want to like know every time I buy or sell Tesla or any other investments, and you want to chat to me on Discord and a community of different people about Tesla, anything else that you fancy, different stocks, investing strategies, portfolios, and you want a weekly portfolio update from me as well, please feel free to come and join the Patreon. I've made it as cheap as I possibly can. It's £3 or the equivalent per month, and you can literally chat to me every day. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to. No pressure, of course. I just appreciate you being here, honestly, and supporting the channel. So I am wondering, let's just zoom out year to date. So the highest point of this year, 293.34, 18th of July. As a long-time investor and someone that just wants to accumulate as many shares for the long term, I don't really mind if the year high is reached soon or whatever. Don't really mind. But let's just make this a bit of fun. How long, what sort of month, maybe early next year, whatever you think, do you think that Tesla will go back to this sort of price, the $300 per share kind of price? Let me know. Obviously, it's all speculation, but it's interesting to wonder when it might happen. Okay. So that's the Tesla stock. We'll see what happens there. Let's now have a look at comments, if any of you guys have got any comments. Also, just to let you know, I have a video coming out later today at 7 p.m. UK time. It's all about Cathie Wood's recent interview on CNBC. She made some very, very bullish commentary on Tesla. She also spoke about FSD, autonomous driving robo-taxi fleet, selling some of her shares and things like that. And I reacted to it and let you know my thoughts on that. So if you want to check that video out, 7 p.m. UK time tonight, show some support. Let me know that you watch this live stream in the comments on that video later as well. And also, I'm doing lives pretty much every day now, Monday to Friday. So if you want to keep coming along, please do. That would be really fun. So let's see what people are saying. Okay, I'm glad the audio and visual is a lot better today. I managed to figure out the technology. I love how I invest into some of the biggest AI technology, innovative companies in the world, and I struggle to use a software system, a streaming system called OBS. I'm getting there, guys. It was only my first time. Well, first time of recent. Your set and jumper is very vibrant today. Thank you. I'm wearing my green jumper because the markets look like they're going to be green today. So I thought it was only fitting. Someone says, India is a tough nut to crack. So many bureaucracy and local industry protections. Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think Tesla have a real offering to India and to the Indian economy. So hopefully all of that will get figured out. We'll have to just wait and see. Do you think building factories too fast is risky? Manufacturing in Mexico has barely started. Yeah, I think it's all like if you think about companies that hire too quickly. During COVID, a lot of companies expanded way too quickly, spent loads of money, got loads of people in because they were seeing the growth at that stage, but they didn't forecast out what was going to happen when actually people do return outside, do go back to normal, the economy picks back up. And then what that meant is eventually they were having to lay people off. They were having to make big cuts because they over anticipated. Obviously, that's not the same thing as Tesla building too many factories, but I do think that it could be risky if the expansion happens too quickly. However, I think that they would be making the right decision if they announced another gigafactory soon. How long do you think Tesla and Palantir will be as investments? How long term do you think Tesla and Palantir will be as investments? Well, for me, I am not looking to even consider touching those investments in terms of like completely selling them until, sort of 7 years, 10 years, that sort of timeline for me. If something went crazy, let's just say Tesla or Palantir went absolutely insane, I would probably have a think about whether I want to take some profit off the table to sustain my life and give me some more freedom, because ultimately it's financial freedom that I'm trying to reach, and my bets on what companies are the best to do that for has determined my investment portfolio. So very, very long term for me. I think that if you haven't got the long term view on a company like Tesla or Palantir, it's a bit risky, because we see how easily and how quickly it happens, where just a bad piece of news, a downgrade that doesn't even make sense, media article that has no real evidence, can affect the stock price. So if you're only holding, let's just say you are holding for a year, and in that year it just so happens that bad media has come out or whatever, and it's ruined the stock price. Because remember, the company value and the intrinsic value of the company and the stock price don't always marry up. Then you could be in quite a bad position. Okay, people seem to be agreeing that it might be a good place to build the 25k vehicle or less EV range in India. Remember, the factory is the product, a point lost on most. With each new facility, I haven't got my glasses on. With each new facility, more production steps are removed, light years ahead of any other car manufacturer in this regard. Yeah, I think that Tesla's manufacturing and their ability to scale is unlike any other company, and it gives them such a competitive advantage. The reason, and I speak about this in my video later actually, the reason that car companies, EV manufacturers are profitable is kind of down to their ability to scale. And Tesla are able to scale and keep their production costs, their manufacturing costs low, way more efficient than anyone else. They have their gigapress. They are making the changes they need. They are going through factory updates, so on and so forth. And yeah, you got a point there. They're unlike anyone else, and they really do have the competitive advantage. The age demographic pyramid makes India a good market. Thank you for saying the live stream is good. Oh, in Australia, I didn't know that I had Australian viewers. So on YouTube, you get a breakdown of like where your viewers are around the world. Most of mine come from the UK and US. I don't really have many from Australia, so the fact that quite a number of Australians have been on these live streams is fantastic, and it's so early for you, or late, depending on if you sleep early. Thank you for being here, honestly. Okay, I'm going to look at a couple more comments and questions, and then we will wrap it up. I don't want to take too much of your time. Let's have a look. Here. I'd love an EV transit from Tesla for work. I wonder if company cars will start becoming Teslas in the future. Tesla's only rival is BYD. I do think BYD are doing a fantastic job. I think that a lot of really strong Tesla bulls obviously want to make the point that Tesla has no real competitors, and I do agree to a sense, but if there's going to be a competitor, I think it's BYD. What I will say though is when you're looking at data that show sales of vehicles, demand of vehicles, whatever it may be, and they compare BYD to Tesla, just make sure that data is being like a direct comparison. So it's showing battery EVs, full EVs versus full EVs. because a lot of the time what it will do is it will include hybrids, non-EVs, and EVs all together, and it will give a number that is way higher than Tesla's EVs because it's including everything else, and then it will say that Tesla demand is fallen off of a cliff, and it's just not accurate. But I do agree, BYD is doing a very, very great job from what I can tell. Okay guys, so I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for joining. Honestly, it means the world to me. Like I said, I've got a video coming out later tonight. If you want to support that, please do. I hope this is valuable, and like I said as well, I am going to start doing these every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. So if you've got any topics you want me to cover, also let me know and I'll try and cover them. But yeah, appreciate you being here, and have a fantastic rest of your